White Council's official presence in the city, and he is tasked with protecting the city and keeping an eye on it for the council. He was born in southern Germany to a family of basically mechanics and factory workers, but he didn't really have a head for that. Most of the stuff that he tried to repair and things back in the day broke because of his wizardry powers that interferes with anything like electronic or mechanical or high tech, basically. But he had a very studious head and managed to win a scholarship. That landed him a seat in like a place to study in the university in Berlin. He also got a lot into trouble back in his day because he frequently broke into other people's homes and offices and things to basically steal, although he wouldn't call it that, weird like old knickknacks and things they had laying around. Things they had like forgotten or like ignored that they had. His reasoning being that such interesting objects should be studied and categorized and cataloged and, you know, maybe put on display so more people could learn things. He's very much into the idea of spreading knowledge and like studying and things. And from that, he also got like into wizarding for real during his university years. It was an old, the previous old caretaker of Pergamon Museum basically brought him in, took him under his wing. It's like, you have the potential to be a great wizard. Let me teach you. And so he did. And the old man is now dead. And Felix has taken over, basically inherited his position in a way as the caretaker of the museum and its artifacts. He is, his high concept I've written down as an Indiana Jones wizard. And the phase aspect he has gained from this first phase 1 is it belongs in a museum. Yeah, that's his phase 1.
What's your phase 2?
My phase 2 is not very fleshed out at the moment because it is so gigantic. It is the city creation of character creation, where you're meant to detail everything. But what I have there is basically a small, some scattered notes. You know, his family and friends still live down south. He's not really alone as such, although he is getting more and more distant as he gets more into his wizarding business. You know, he can't really have that much contact with his family on a daily basis because of that. And he can't really call them easily. You know, he has a phone that kind of works in his office. But you know, it's a bit of a hassle to go back and forth. But yeah, he's also mildly the black sheep of the family because everyone in the family is like working mechanic or factory worker, and him being a professor, that's not really a real job. They think, you know, we should get a real job, a haircut, and find a wife to marry. He's over 30 now. Like, you need to.
Like, geez, get a move on.
Get a life, you know, get a real life, like your brother, for instance. And he's like, ugh, roll eyes. But yeah, he has a rival in the university. I haven't fleshed him out yet, but he has a haughty rival professor who tries to basically one-up him in his research, and might even have sabotaged him at some point. And they're sort of sniping at each other with the institutions of the university. Doing that. Needs to get laid? Yeah, maybe, Wabbit, maybe. It's been a while. It's been a while for poor Felix here. Although there is certainly a university life, so that helps with that part of it.
Find a nice woman and get married.
Yeah, that's what, I mean, his family wants him to do. Find a nice woman and get married.
Settle down, build cars for a living. Like the usual.
The usual, like you do in this family.
Why can't you be normal? Have you tried not being a wizard?
Exactly. His family is not in the know. He has kept them in the dark for this. It's safer for them, basically. He also has as a form of like keeping an eye on his area. He has also formed a skeptic society at at the university, where students and other people technically can join in to sit and discuss like different strange happenings that has happened to them, and it sort of challenges them to bring a case before him that they can't solve. Or can't debunk in the skeptic circle, because that's like what the circle is dedicated to, is to debunking these things. If there is actually something that comes in that he cannot debunk then and there, he will actually investigate, because that is part of his job as a White Council wizard, is to actually keep an eye on these things and investigate. And that's sort of how it led into one of his first cases, which I'll get to in a minute. But the aspect from phase 2 here is a keeper of the skeptic circle. Sort of leaning into that. It's a way for him to get information. It is a way for him to keep an eye on things. It's also a way for him to like keep people in the dark in a way, you know. But yeah, it's he means well with the skeptic circle. It certainly does.
Does his family call ahead when they come visit? Or do they just sort of show up and be like, super annoying at the worst possible time?
They probably just show up mostly. One part is because
you don't have a cell phone, right?
Yeah, he doesn't have a cell phone. He has an old phone in his office that kind of works from time to time, but usually these days, like his parents will say, "Oh, we tried to call," even if they maybe haven't, you know.
Yeah.
They just show up.
Okay.
Yep.
They're sort of the knock but enter anyway.
Yep. Parents. Yep. Knock and enter, not knock and wait, basically.
So, can you write down your aspects as well?
I could.
At least from what I've gathered, I think the aspects fit your story. So.
Yeah, we'll add more to it as well.
No, not Billings.
It blinks in a museum.
It blinks in a museum. It's more modern.
It's your turn then, Sheep, no?
It would be my turn. I'm just writing until Jonas writes down things because he wanted feedback.
Should I have my first adventure also? I forget.
Do you do everything? No, I think we do that in the next round.
Okay.
We'll do that, and then we'll go into the next one. Because I think we have to be in one another's first adventures. So.
Yes, that's true.
So it's easier to do that one person at a time, and then.
Are those the two aspects you have?
No, well, I'm writing.
Oh, you're writing, and your high concept as well. Technically an aspect.
Trouble is an aspect as well. What is your trouble?
If not me, who? Or good men do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I think the former works better.
It would be a thing of him being like, yeah, like there are a lot of good powers in the city, but they seem to be lame in a way. Like they don't seem to act in a way he thinks they should act.
There's a lot of bureaucracy.
There's a lot of bureaucracy, and his experience with it is that it is simply impossible to move anywhere, and that goes for his like caretaker or like the guy who leers over his shoulder all the time.
The White Council doesn't do anything either.
No, and if they won't act, like he has to act. He will go gung ho.
Rash then.
Yeah, he will go gung ho and go and do it. He's also, I should say, his elements are earth. That's his primary element. He's an earth wizard. Gravity, metal, rocks, and stone. Those are the things he is best at. He also has proficiency in fire magics and spirit magics, being force fields and shields and stuff like that. And fire is, well, fire. The great cleanser.
Great equalizer.
Yes. The family is the final boss. That's right, Marcus. So yeah, wizard, adventurer, professor. That's my high concept.
That's free concept.
And good men do nothing is my trouble. It belongs to the museum and keeper of the skeptic circle.
Oh, I think they're good. Trouble can definitely be compelled, occasionally at least.
Mhm.
Whenever someone's taking time doing something, or wants to wait and set a plan, or damn it, we have to do something.
Or Felix walks into like an office and wants to have like a plate of a car run, and the guy behind the counter is, well, we close in 10 minutes, so I really can't do it anymore.
It's like, get away from the counter. Mess you up, and then he gets a point.
Yeah, no, it's a good point.
That's a good thing. Whenever you do something, kind of like that, you get a little something.
Something.
The universe hates you, but it hates you in a loving way.
That's right.
You get to have luck later.
I like the chat tonight. They're picking up on all my references. I like it.
That's good. Yeah.
I mean, it's not a particularly difficult reference to pick up on, though.
No, but it's been like Shakespeare, Lovecraftian.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
There's been a lot of stuff tonight.
Yeah.
And I like it. I like when people pick up on references.
So sheep.
All right. For my character, the high concept is that he is the emissary of the dragon who used to be watching over the city. Technically, his complete aspect is that he is a false dragon emissary of the yet-to-be-named dragon. False dragon as in he's not really technically a were-dragon in a sense, since he can't really control it, and he's not really a half-dragon either. He finds that a very insulting term. So he has decided to call himself false dragon. He's usually human, mostly human, but sometimes he's not quite something else, and who knows.
Do people know him as the false dragon?
He wouldn't really give himself like a pompous nickname like that. He would explain it.
That pompous.
Well, yeah. He wouldn't really give himself a nickname. He would explain it to those who are really in the know, who deal with him. He would be very open about it, essentially. I'm this guy. Yes, my father is, in fact, the dragon. No, I'm not going to tell you where he is or what he wants. I'm his representative. You talk to me, and we'll work things out. That's basically who he is.
He's in a terrible position.
He is in a terrible position.
What's his trouble?
His trouble is Dad and the Dragon Slayers. His dad is a trouble because, it's good to kind of have relations to him, and he thinks he has good relations, but he doesn't quite know what the hell he wants, and especially what the hell he wants from Martin, which is my character's name. He was kind of thrust into Berlin to be like this, this person to talk to about all matters diplomatic in a sense, but he hasn't really been given very precise instructions. Like he was told something along the lines of, Berlin should remain like a well-polished gem, or something cryptic like that, which he thinks to mean that maybe it's a good thing if the city was still standing, which is to be assumed, and maybe it would also be a good thing if no bad things were happening, which is probably also how he pretty much got to know the rest of you, in a sense. You get things done, you're nice, and he definitely also wants to get away from his usual clientele in a way. The snobbish rich people, the politicians, the bureaucrats. They are like, he doesn't want to see too many of those. Mm-hmm. And the Dragon Slayers part, there's the Knights of St. George, who are very much against this whole, dragon thing, out of principle, really. And while they probably don't want to kill him on sight, they probably don't really have proof of what he is, of who he is, despite him being rather open about it. They don't want to take the chance to maybe kill an innocent or something. Yeah, they wouldn't know that. But
is he or isn't he?
I mean, he himself doesn't really know the answer to that question.
They don't know either.
So. Yeah. But they would probably do things like sabotage him, like, politically, and maybe just make his life very awkward. Mm-hmm. And in the worst case, openly oppose him with, force if necessary, if they should deem necessary. That's kind of the troubles he has. His other aspects are basically, since his father is a dragon and his mother is not. He's not really sure what the hell he is. He calls it, ironically, sometimes the blessing of the dragon with a big question mark. He can't really turn at will. He only really turns when he sees blood, be it his own or others, or even things that look very much like it. Doesn't mind smelling it, but seeing it is terrible. And also sometimes when it's very, very inconvenient that it should happen in that particular situation. On the other hand, he can also occasionally just decide, perhaps, very rarely to maybe access some of the, like, his dad's powers in a sense. But he doesn't really know how it works, and it often tends to work against him rather than for him. His other aspect is related to the many people he knows and has to know and got essentially thrust into. He got essentially shown the door to Berlin and said, hey, here's those people you have to meet, and you better make friends. And so he did. And now he has many friends in many places, or as he might sometimes say, too many friends, in quotation marks, in too many places. And his last aspect is kind of relating to his story, so I might change that, so I'm not going to bother explaining that. It's basically relating to how he can improvise in a sense, keep calm in a weird situation and somehow deal with it. But let me write down my aspects, because that's basically it.
Halldamir then?
Yeah. Alright, well, my high concept is Vigilante Werebear. Character is ironically named Bjorn Olsen. His trouble aspect is I'm a bazooka. He's not subtle in many situations, which can be good and bad for him. Normally bad. His first phase aspect is the story is that his parents were killed at a very young age. While he was a very young boy, he was adopted straight after that. After he started changing at the round of age 9, not knowing how to control his power, he bounced around foster home to foster home, and eventually they didn't want to keep pushing him around, and he just kind of ran away. Lived in the wild for a very long time after that. He's very good at living off the land and surviving for himself. Therefore, his phase aspect is Lonely Orphan. The second phase is sums up his time in the nature, the natural world. How he saw humans treat the animals, especially. How he thinks that could be changed, or how it could be perceived in different ways for it to be changed. He takes particular care about how they care for bears. He's not really been in the city for too long, only a few years, and his base animal nature wanting him to stay rather private, not getting too close to many people. So he doesn't really have many friends per se, not close friends at least. No real enemies, because he just keeps himself to himself, or none that he really knows of. He has finally managed to stop waking up in bear and forgetting that he is a bear. So he's managing to hold down a nice apartment. But his phase aspect is surrounded by nature, is our friend. And tries to emphasize that as much as he can. And then there's the story phase, which can be discussed in a bit. that's pretty much it.
So, something that I would like to ask is how certain aspects of these can be either invoked or compelled. Well, mostly compelled, really, because all of them can be invoked to do a positive thing. Like, not specifically for you, but for Menekai and Jonas mostly, really. How would Jonas? How would Keeper of the Skeptic Circle be compelled? How could that be a bad thing for you?
I don't know. On top of my head, I'm not sure.
Okay, I mean, aspects don't necessarily have to be bad things. I know that it belongs to the museum can be rather easily compelled. The trouble aspect, of course. But having more aspects that make your character have troubles or like cause problems, I think is a good thing, really, in this system. And can make things very interesting, because with fate points you can do the interesting shit.
The thing is, was when I talked before, it was like, oh, your aspect should be like how you get people in contact with people and stuff. Also,
yeah, it's like, kind of everything, which is a bit weird.
I think it's a good one because it's an obligation, right?
Yeah, it is.
Like he has something he cares about, and if it gives the game master someone whom he can kidnap, that is not his family who lives very far away.
That's true.
And then
I mean, the
compelled
emphasis
to like care about that person.
The emphasis would be the keeper part.
Yeah,
he feels like he is the keeper, like he is protecting these people or helping these people in
they have
this
gotten
way.
into stuff that they can't deal with.
Yep,
can.
And yeah, he can.
So if you're the keeper, the leader of that circle, maybe it would also compel you to try to disassemble someone's argument through like skeptical, logical means when it's really not appropriate.
Maybe.
Like you meet a person of faith and you just...
I'm keeper of the skeptic circle.
Yep.
Listen here.
I don't quite think that's how you think it is.
He has, like, he can't help it. He has a skeptical mind. In a way, like he has a very, like, he just likes questions.
Well, maybe you can also mean that he doesn't like, because he is a man who takes care of these people who've gotten into things that they can't deal with. Maybe that makes it so that he doesn't want to leave things unfinished somewhere. Like he has to complete a problem complete. He can't do like a half-working magical ward anywhere. It has to be dealt with, and that takes time, which could slow him down from dealing with other things. Because otherwise, someone innocent will go and walk right into it.
So Halldamir, stop calling the chat stupid. Yeah, nice
What?
people.
We're picking a fight.
Nice fucking.
And yes, Halldamir's character does look very hot. I think that's the hottest character we've had in a tabletop. Look at that handsome man.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I took the mortal stunt sex appeal just for that.
Yeah, that works. Look at
Yeah,
that.
White Court will love it. Be all
White
over
Court
it.
will love it.
And Jonas,
I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
how would you invoke it belongs in a museum? How would you use that to your advantage?
He needs to get something he thinks belongs at a museum. He rolls to grab it, to steal it, to open the box, to somehow get in contact with it.
You don't understand, Sheep. It belongs in the museum. It wants to be.
So it gives you like the conviction to be even better at what you're doing.
Exactly.
It's a
Because
belief,
it
right?
belongs in there.
It has to be. It's like
Yeah, it has to.
a universal rule.
Yeah.
So, Anakai then. I can see how wickedness can be redeemed, can be compelled. Like trying to maybe redeem the villain who really doesn't like or who doesn't look like he can be redeemed and will likely backstab you the moment you turn around. How would you invoke that though?
I would invoke it. Well, I will invoke it when I try to redeem him.
To actually
Okay,
be better
to
at talking
convince
him
him,
down.
yeah.
Or to make people surrender, or to redeem people, basically, to not have to kill people.
So it can be like a two-edged sword in the
basically.
same situation. Okay. The true never stand alone. How would that be compelled?
how would that be compelled? Let's see. For example, generally, if I know of something and say, well, I'm like, well, I kind of want to go get the others. You could be like, well, no, you don't, because you actually don't believe that you are alone. The Lord is with you, and that's the truest ally you can have.
It can also be that when you actually see someone who you like deem being true, you are also compelled to help them if they seem to be in need of help. Like they are
follow
true
that
and
too.
they should never stand alone. Like
I will stand with them
Exactly.
in whatever problems they might have
Yeah, and
at
you don't really-
a white court party where they
Yeah,
might
exactly.
be about to be eaten.
Yeah, you don't really care about the problem as much.
No.
You're convinced that they should not stand alone.
Yeah.
No, I cannot leave you here lying on the ground,
I will.
on the floor,
Exactly.
even though getting help would be more sensible, because the true never stand alone.
It's a bit extreme.
I don't know.
It's like you will die here, but you will not die alone, which is all that matters.
I mean,
It's like,
that's
I'll probably
kind of.
save them, right?
I mean, he might think
Honest.
that he can save him because
I'm gonna pray for you. Well, you can
I
actually
probably have done
because you're.
something before they got smashed to bits. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
but yes, I can pray for you, and it will do
and
something.
It will actually work. So that's great.
So, Halldamir, how would you invoke being a lonely orphan? How could that help you?
I have a suggestion.
Go
Me
for it.
too.
Yeah.
Well, being lonely, you have only yourself to rely on. So you can evoke that to be very self-reliant in something.
Yeah.
You are crafty, and maybe you have something. Since you've been a lonely orphan, maybe you have just the thing on hand that a lonely orphan would have. Like no one brought rope. Well, suckers, I'm a lonely orphan. I know what's needed here, and rope is needed.
Yeah.
Or to have contacts, for example, in that sort of place, to relate to people in those sorts of places.
In the underground, perhaps?
Maybe even to like know paths and like do some navigation. Be like, I've run these streets a lot. I know where things go.
And how could that be compelled? How could that be a bad thing for you?
Socially awkwardness, it seems, would be
Yeah.
a thing. Yeah.
Would most likely be it.
But
Because
in-
you're a
in
lonely
what
orphan, you
sense?
never had friends, and you really want friends. And this vampire does. I mean, he does look very nice. So of course you'll go
And
talk
he's
to him,
saying all the
shake
nice
his
things to
hand
you.
and be like super into friendship.
I'm just
He's
kind
the
of
cool kid, and I want to be a cool kid.
I'm just kind of seeing that overlap with the trouble aspect, because both I think would mostly apply in like social situations.
I'm
Where
a bazooka.
yeah, it's like
Would
That would be like the enemy's in there, and his plan is like, I will smash the door
Yep.
and charge the front line.
I will.
gonna
I'll
sneak
run
through
through
I
this
have
this-
no
door.
tact.
I'm
I
gonna
have no
sneak-
stealth. I am a blunt edged
but
thing.
also there's like the bouncer not letting you into the nightclub, and Halldamir is like, I'm a bazooka, I just don't care. Or he is a lonely orphan who really can't convince people.
Well, a
Well,
bazooka
the-
would be
the
like,
bazooka
I
bit would-
punch him.
Yeah. Or I
right?
just
And
walk
the lonely
through.
orphan be like, well, I guess that's what.
and have you get mental stress and just break down and
I'll
cry.
just break down, go running, crying home.
But with the bazooka, he will punch him in the face.
Which is an incredibly stupid thing to do, to get into a nightclub.
Yeah.
Yes.
Although if the bouncer's not
As an
there,
orphan, he
there's
really
no
want to
issue.
get into the nightclub.
Would the fact that you're a bazooka also apply in, like, you see a crime scene, and because you're a bazooka, you think you know that the proof you need is behind that table, but the table is actually bolted to the floor, and then you rip it off, and there's nothing there, and now the entire room is even more of a
It's
mess.
I mean, it's about being impulsive and like,
And then like my wizard comes
straightforward,
in,
right?
starting to investigate. It like looks around. Did you just rip up the table?
There's just like a bear. Like, it seems like a bear did this.
You're like, oh no.
No, nature's our friend. Bear would never do this.
Why would a bear
damn it.
rip a table up?
No, maybe it's a good thing you two don't know each other.
Yeah.
Tact is my middle name, Felix. We'll get next time, and then just be completely opposites.
Nature's our-
Tact. What on earth is that? Can you eat it? Attack? No, thanks. I'm driving.
Isn't that the ammunition for a nail gun?
Yeah. I like
That would be
attack.
nails.
No, thanks. I'm driving.
Yeah, I thought nail guns shoot nails.
Smart ass.
Tic-tac-toe? I don't know.
Nature's Offer. I like that one because it definitely can both be invoked and compelled.
Yep.
Like, we have to burn down this tree because it's,
I mean, they may have a guard dog, but I can befriend it.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
You walk into the guard dog, that then it rips your leg off, something like that.
Oh no!
It tries.
Well, you don't want to
Don't
fight the
fight it.
guard dog, right? You know, it's like, no, it's just afraid. It's not like bear.
But again, my just looking at I could crush that dog. I could
But
throw
he
it
would
over the
have
hill.
so many points.
But then his echoes of the beast, like, or like being, like, his bear inside of him tells him, like, don't take shit from this little fucking thing. Kill it. Fucking rip his face
bear.
off.
Like I am a bazooka! Smack.
Like,
Bear
hey, little
smash.
god doggy. Oh god, it's poking me.
Your smash should be an aspect, but that's very close to the bazooka.
That sounds like a stunt.
Yeah.
Orange smash.
Well, tell us about your first adventure, Manikai.
My first adventure that you two, that Bjorn and Felix